Hey, thanks for joining. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what your role is and what you support?
My name is Marcella Villarreal. I'm the CEO of Sales Mission Consulting and Training. I am a 20 plus year sales executive. I've generated over 50 million in revenue with companies like Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, Expedia, and I now have my own consulting firm where I help CEOs drive revenue.
That's I like that elevator pitch. It's one of the best ones I've had, of course, comes from a
I think
sales
it's
background.
important. I think everyone should have well, one of the things I volunteer for the Small Business Association, and before I meet with them, I go around to each business owner and ask them what they do.
Hmm.
And 95% of the time, they can't tell me exactly.
I know.
So what I
Uh,
just did, you can call it credentializing, you can call it mission statement, intro, whatever. Every business owner should have a statement like
yeah, I agree. Or for me, when asked, I say I make businesses millions, and then I get the question, how? And that opens up the
that.
conversation. Kept
Yeah,
it. I found a way to make it short and simple. No, that's cool. So what are some of the things you're seeing on the sales side and adoption of AI that you're getting
yeah.
pushback from or seeing within the industry, especially within the technology industry that you're working in?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen technology. I sold computers. I was part of the first CRM. I've seen streaming video take off. So I've seen all these different variations of technology change, right? We all
Mm,
remember the first Apple when it first came out. We were on DOS and the dumb terminal, and then we had
hmm.
computers. Then we had, Y2K. That was a big deal. This AI is way more than any of that.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing slow adoption when I thought I was going to be behind. I'm actually ahead. And I think it's so broad when you say AI that what does that mean? Right. And then people get afraid. It's new technology. It's very dynamic and robust. And there's so much to it. And I know you've probably gone down a rabbit hole. I've gone down a rabbit hole with all these different sites.
Hmm.
Um, I'm finding that 85% of businesses know that they need AI, only 35% are adopting or looking at it, and there's a huge gap in between. The productivity is insane and amazing, but I'm finding with the CEOs that I'm talking to that they're having a hard time with adoption. And some of them, their mindset is still saturation marketing, when there's so many empowering sales tools that they can use for broader, more direct, customized, personalized outreach.
What are some of the sales tools and strategies that you're using to get the right qualified
Yeah.
potential client?
So what I did was, since I based my work career on technology, was I looked for a AI partner. And
Mm,
I'm actually partnered with Proactive DBA. The president, JP, is also the president of the Microsoft Channel Partners Association. So he has great connections. He has been working on AI for over 10 years. And so I started using the tool and saying, wait a minute, I couldn't have possibly done this with five of me working
mm.
24 hours a day. Now I can build a customized community of CEOs and people that I need to be around my ideal customer and connect to them on a much quicker, faster level. And it's just helped me. I've probably had at least 40 plus CEO conversations in the last 7 months
Wow.
just by using that new AI partnering tool, Proactive.
And what's the web address? Because I looked for Proactive. I'm not getting necessarily a direct web address when I search for it.
Yeah, I can put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
But and what we've seen with those customers has just been so dynamic and impressive that it put me down the rabbit hole of AI. And once I started looking, I just couldn't believe it.
Hmm.
The amount of things that you can do, I found gamma.com and I can put in information
Hmm.
and it does a PowerPoint for me on the
Yeah.
spot. I mean, within seconds, and then I can swap out pictures. And I mean, the list goes on and on. It's
Mm-hmm.
proactivebda.com.
BDA. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And one of the things that we also do on there is, newsletters and marketing information. There's just so much that comes off of it, not only reaching out to prospects, but being able to do reporting before you even meet with them. Um, be able to look up their information, anticipate what they're going to ask so that
Mm-hmm.
you're prepared. I mean, there's so many sales productivity tools that are just amazing. And so I've been kind of diving into that because I think it's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to have to get on board sooner or later. So better sooner than later.
Coming fast, and either they can catch up or they're gonna get left behind really quick.
Absolutely. Yeah. And why wouldn't you want your teams to have more prospects? Why
Ah,
wouldn't you want your teams to be able to drill in on their ideal
yeah.
customer? And I think the ideal customer thing also is really important because, we all want to boil the ocean, right? When
Mm-hmm.
someone says, "Who can you help?" You go, "I can help everyone."
Yeah. It's my favorite.
No,
No, you
yeah,
can't.
you need to narrow it down and specialize in that area. So you're a knowledge worker to your prospects and your
Mm-hmm.
customers. So you're in that area and they can come to you because guess what? Our customers have changed. My customer 10, 15 years ago, I could be the knowledge worker. They came to
Yeah.
me. Now they have so much information at their fingertips that your prospect is educated. So
Yeah.
you better come to them knowing your stuff, or they're going to know more than you. And why would they come to you? Why would you be a benefit to them?
You.
You wouldn't. And, we need to focus on the customer. And I also see that as a huge thing that customers can do is recognize their customers. And you don't see it anymore. We were
Mm-hmm.
raised, we were talking about our time frame and we come from the same area. Customer was king.
Mm-hmm.
Customer was king. That's all we heard. You don't hear that anymore.
Why is that? Now it's like the customer's there to serve the business versus the business being there to serve the
Yeah.
customer.
Like how many places do you walk into and you just don't get customers? You don't even get greeted, or they're on their phone while they're ringing you up and you're thinking, I wanted something else, but apparently you're not interested in me buying more. So yeah, I would say if you're offering good customer service, that alone helps you out
Mm-hmm.
because you don't hear it or see it anymore. It's like you're doing them a favor
Yeah, and then
when,
and as AI develops, it's going to be the customer service rep that we're speaking with. So there's
yeah.
a point where the human interaction is going to feel like human interaction, but it's going to be gone.
Well,
Like,
and that's something we talk about at
yeah,
Proactive, and it was one of the reasons I picked the partner that I picked. Is he said, "Can AI do it? Yes.
mm-hmm.
Ethically, should it?" So we want to get our customers to a point to where they can have that conversation live with their prospect. No one wants to pick up the phone and hear a robot go, "Hi, I'm really concerned about your business." You're going to go, "No, you don't. You're robo dialing," right?
Yeah,
We still need to have this, you and me having this interaction, me seeing you, you seeing me, and us sharing ideas and challenges. And, if we can help each other, that's
mm,
sales. It's a
that is.
relationship. You buy from people you like,
It's true.
you know, and you trust, and being a trusted advisor is so important.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, yeah, building the relationships, and now you've got your prospect list. What's the next step in your outreach and getting them closer to closing them within the sales step?
Yeah, so if I was okay, the other side, cold calling, there's that, which I
Smile and dial.
still, yes, I love cold calling. I think it's powerful. I think people don't realize that you can just pick up the phone and say, "You know what, Jason, I really love what you're doing in your business and I'd love to know more. Do you have 5 minutes?"
Mm,
Who doesn't want to? I mean, it's nothing magical, right?
yeah.
It's just people speaking to people. Now that's the That's the cold calling. Then we have the AI side
Mm-hmm.
where we can generate that warm phone call with touches,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I reach out to your LinkedIn, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
and said, I love your industry. I'd love to be part of it. Then a few days later, I reach out and endorse something on you. I like something. And then we talk about possibly collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
That's my AI prospecting. So there's two different kinds. I can do the cold calling, I can do the AI. I think both are important. Of
Yeah.
course, I can reach more quicker, faster with AI. But there's nothing like picking up the phone and saying, hey, I'm going to be in your area. I love your business. Love to see how I can help you. Are you open to that?
Yeah. I'm a believer in hitting up every channel that you possibly can if you're able to,
Yeah,
right? So
I
it's like,
offer free complimentary sales strategy calls on my website.
yeah, we do the
Anyone
same
wants to have a strategy call, you can schedule time with me. And people go, why don't you charge? And I'm like, why?
because that's how
Why?
you qualify the person.
Yeah, but I'm really interested. I jump on and I don't even have my questions in the calendar invite as
Mm,
mandatory.
hmm.
And most of them don't say anything. They just book time. So
Yeah.
I just jump on and go, hi, I'm here. How can I help?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What
I, you know,
problem do you have? Like, and I think people fail to realize that as a sales team, you got to identify the problem and the stakeholders. Like, what solution are you looking for? And are you the one who could actually make the decision to solve this?
well, and if you don't have a problem, what's not working?
Or that,
Right?
yeah.
Sometimes you get that kind of defensive where they book the call and then they're like, oh, wait, uh, she might push me for something here. And I just had that the other day and he's like, oh, everything's fine. And I said, well, then you're the first CEO I've ever spoken to who has enough revenue. Well, I didn't say I had enough revenue.
Right.
Okay, so why are we here?
Yeah.
What can I help you with?
Okay. So we got your prospecting section out. Now you've made contact with them. How do you qualify them to know that there's someone that you could sell to within the sales cycle?
It's really just asking questions.
Hmm.
What is the business challenge? How are you handling it now? How would you like to handle it in the future? One of the things that I really need to push is, do you really want to solve this problem?
Hmm.
It's one thing to talk about it. It's
That's true.
another, bring in an expert. What I'm finding with CEOs is they're driving revenue and they're getting to a point to where they know they can't do that anymore. Like
Hmm.
I just had one last week, we spoke and he goes, yeah, I think I need your help. I have 700 emails that I haven't gotten to. And
Wow.
my sales mind is exploding saying, there were opportunities, and as a salesperson that window of opportunity is quick.
Oh
You
yeah.
have to move through it, or maybe something else came up, so now they're pushing budget to that, or they changed their mind or whatever.
Hmm.
Having 700 emails that have opportunities in there that you sat on is a problem.
That's a great problem to have too.
It's a great problem to have, but CEOs get to a point to where they get their business to a certain
Yeah.
level and they realize they can't do it all. The quickest, easiest way would bring in a consultant,
Hmm.
bring them in, have them come in, assess, build a strategy if you need it, work with your team if you have a team, find out where the gaps are, find out what's not moving, and use them when you need them. 3 months. Okay, don't need you now. Later on, a problem arises, call them back up. They know your
Yeah.
business. Hey, come in. We're stagnant. One thing we find with Proactive DBA is they're not ready for all the warm conversations, and then there's a dip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, we can tee them up. You have to be ready. You know what I mean? There's no reason to bring in traction
To go
to
nowhere.
pause it. Yeah, so we have to warn our customers, be ready for that traction to come. And if you can't, we can help you with agents. We
Mhm.
have AI agents that can help
Mm,
you, but it would be better if it was you. It
of
would be
course.
better for you to hop on and go, you know what, Jason, I would love to know more about your business, because that's what it's about.
And then what do you see from in how you do it? How do you have different tiers? Like we'll bring in X amount of appointments per month, or are you doing, hey, we just turn it on, it runs, and then it's off? Or is there some type of metrics that you're able to scale behind?
Yeah, it really depends on where they're at, whether they have a team. If
Hmm.
they have a team and, then I need to look at the team, look at their pipeline. Do they have a pipeline? Are they following a 3X, which is standard in sales to
Hmm.
build a 3X pipeline because a third of your pipeline will most likely close? What's their sales methodology?
Hmm.
Are they going after the right customer? I mean, there's so many variables that okay, I can increase it by 20% off the bat just by me being here. And
Hmm.
I'll pick up the phone if I have to. I'll call your current clients and say, what worked for you? Why did you choose to go into business with them? How is it working for you? And this is what I've seen all through my career is it's easier to keep the customer. It's harder to find a new customer. While you have the customer, do everything you can to keep
Hmm.
them.
No,
And what
that's
companies will do is if they know there's a problem, they're afraid to pick up the phone. And I had that with SAP. They hired me to do instructional design, and I wrote training for their technical support teams. They were having drop offs. It was sales training. It's now mandatory worldwide. It's been spun off 4 times. And I can tell you, my training was sales training.
but also what you say is that it costs more to acquire a new client than it does to maintain a
Keith,
client. And I think people don't like picking up the phone a lot of times on these new sales teams because,
no,
they're used to the digital interaction, but they're not used to the voice part of, making those calls. So it's interesting. So within a hiring process, you also have to figure that out as well too. So do you have a process for when working with bringing on a team to identify those users or those potential, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. We can go through. I mean, it's funny because old school, I can tell you, old school sales,
Hmm.
when I was hired at Microsoft, I was top 4%. Took me two years and 9 months to get
Wow.
into Microsoft. And a lady sat across me. She was a World War II vet with a glass
Wow.
eye. And we had to sit at a table and she'd go, ring, ring. And you'd have to role play
Role
with
play.
her.
I've done that a lot.
Yeah, almost every salesperson has been
Yep.
in an interview and you go panel. So it makes me laugh. People are like, oh, it's just a sales interview. I'm like, sales interviews are different than regular
Hmm.
interviews. You have to close
Sell me
or
this
you're
pen.
not
Sell
getting
me
the
this
job.
eraser. Yep.
Yeah, here's a pen, the whole pen thing, sell me this pen. Um, so, it's really just sales 101. We can have AI and it's wonderful, but you still need to have the sales ability to pick up the phone. And when I was writing instructional design and working with the technical support teams, that's what I was telling executives is
Hmm.
we can talk all day long, but until you can have your tech people be able to pick up the phone and say, hi, you paid for extra support and here I am. What can I help you with?
Ooh, good luck with that. Getting a tech
And
guy.
they were so hesitant because email's just not the same.
Yeah.
We can go back and forth with a problem. It's like pick up the phone. So that's what I was working on was let's get them comfortable with picking up the phone. Let's give them phrases that they can use because their biggest concern was I'm going to pick up the phone, they're going to yell at me. Let them yell. You can apologize without taking accountability.
Hmm.
Hey Jason, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Jason, I'm really
Yep.
sorry that you were inconvenienced. That goes a long way. And so I built in ways for them to have these open-ended conversations, for them to have some comfort in saying, I understand you're upset.
Hmm.
There's a power in having that challenge with that customer. And most of us think of it as, oh, they're mad. Oh, it's going to be horrible. No, that is a challenge that you can fix and build that relationship
Yeah.
with that customer. And I had to make the initial calls to Microsoft customers telling them we were charging for Windows.
Mm.
I
Oh
made
God.
those initial calls as a contractor with Microsoft, so I used to get screamed at. So I got used to it, and I developed ways to listen and to not take accountability, and but then to get firm and say, hey, Windows doesn't work for you. We can always uninstall it. You can go back to DOS.
It's one of my favorite things to say.
No, no.
I love holding out on those. Oh, okay. Well, if this isn't working for you, then we could, we'll do this. And then, oh, no, no, that's worse. I don't want to do that. It's
You can't
fun.
have it both ways. I'm at
Yeah.
Microsoft watching engineers in their pajamas that have been working all night long.
Hmm. Yeah.
People do deserve to get paid for
Yeah.
what they do, you know? Um, so yeah, there's a power in the phone. If I can get people to do that and just, hey, love your business, want to know more, I think I can help you. It goes a long way. And you might not ever reach them, right? I mean, you
My,
can't reach everyone.
well, it's interesting you say because I remember Microsoft support, I don't know if they still do it, but they would get on video with you and you could see their face and they would
Mm-hmm.
try and help you do troubleshooting. Or it was a sales process. I forget which one to buy something, but I thought that was pretty cool because I think people are less likely to yell at someone if they can see the person
Absolutely.
and if they can
Oh,
be seen.
absolutely.
So it's like, oh, I don't have the cover of, and I could see who you are. So now you're real. So you're not a
Yeah.
voice on the other end. Uh,
Well, that works in so many things. I remember sales used to be cutthroat when I sold
mhm,
computers. And I sold to the Rob Reiner Foundation, sold to Kevin Klein and his
wow.
wife one time. Um, and I would have sales agents take my deals and I'd say, hang on, let me come up there. And they'd say, you're going to come up there? Hey, you want to steal from me? You're going to have to look at me. So
Mm,
I'd go run up the stairs. And after a while, they'd say, don't take anything from her. She's going to show up.
smart. You don't want to lose it out.
Hey, if you're gonna screw me, you're gonna have to look at me.
Yeah.
As crass as that sounds,
Yeah.
that sales can be brutal. You gotta
Oh,
have
I
a
know.
tough skin.
Yeah,
You
for sure. And what are some of the AI tools you're using now in your day to day that you're finding?
Oh, gosh. So I went down a rabbit hole till 4 a.m. one morning on
Hmm.
TikTok, following some really cool AI masters that are out there looking at stuff. So I use Chat GPT. It knows me. We have a relationship. My Chat GPT is named Jamie, apparently. They
Hmm.
told me the other day. And they've added some really cool prompts. Their graphics still isn't up to
Yeah.
par, even though they've rolled it out recently. Um, but the memory that it has and how it knows you over time, so you can really ask. And I told you this previously, we had a tough love conversation. There was a prompt about, now that you know me, you've seen my strengths, my weaknesses, highlight those, summarize it. But I also want you to tell me gaps, weaknesses, don't be shy, and then give me some steps.
Hmm.
And it was really eye awakening, and it was right, and I appreciated it. I use a website called Gamma for presentations. I'm
Hmm.
not a big PowerPoint fan. Working at Microsoft, I've seen people
I know. I'm
present
not a
with a
fan of the
hundred
deck. Yep.
slides.
I can't
Yeah,
stand it.
and they put on, and I have a training on presenting. One of the things I talk about is don't put a bunch of words. No one wants to see all your words, right? When people see a bunch of words on a slide, they automatically tune
Hmm.
out. That has helped me immensely. GPT has helped me with proposals and
Hmm.
uh, Janice, it's very deep. I've used that a couple of times. I probably have about 15 on the side, but my premier is probably Chat GPT,
Okay.
Gamma, Proactive DBA for all my outreach. I
Hmm.
have two campaigns going on right now. One's about to finish. My other one's gearing up. So in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to start having a full calendar,
Hmm.
more conversations. So
Good.
um, those are my productivity wise. It saves at least, I think the statistic is 2.5 hours at least per day.
I'm saving way more than that.
Oh, it's insane. I've just barely touched what I can do. I can
Hmm.
write a book. I can create a newsletter like that.
Hmm.
It's endless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's to say, I say I save one, not only do I save time, I save on labor.
yeah,
So like I just say, hey, do this, or I pull it once, right? And then that'll run my campaigns for a period of months to where
yeah,
I'm not going through leads individually. It's categorizing everything. It's finding the right ones, like you're saying. Pre-qualify
Oh,
pre-qualifying leads.
you know what I do is before I meet with someone, I put their LinkedIn, their
Mm,
website, any information I can on them into Chat GPT.
hmm.
And I'm giving a tip here. So anyone
Yeah.
listening, I would listen to this. And then I ask it, I tell them I'm having a meeting with this prospect. Can you anticipate why they want to meet with me,
Mm,
what they will be asking me, and how I should respond to that? And it will give me a highlight of their business. I can have them do a bio
wow.
in, I mean, yeah. So I have pre-call analysis before I go into that call. I know everything about them. I know what they're going to ask me. I know what our mutual interests. That alone is powerful. Why
Hmm.
people aren't doing that. And then I can take all their information and run a report for them and look at the markets and segments and things that they should be, and it's
Hmm.
something we can do at Proactive DBA. We can take it even further than that. We
Wow.
can help them with postings and marketing. And so, yeah, I mean, there's so much.
Yeah.
What AI are you using currently?
Using a lot of different tools. You got ChatGPT, I got ZimWriter for writing, I got Neuron Writer, Grammarly. I guess Grammarly's got the AI built.
Oh, I love Grammarly. Yeah.
I'm using the Gamma, like you're saying. I'm using some of the other Google tools, using Lemlist, using Pictory, instantly.
Gemini is another one I use. I forgot about that.
I don't use Gemini. I've used it, but I don't use it that often. I got a lot of other Ideogram for images. I'm using um these are the ones that are just coming.
I know there's so much. Quad is great.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
Claude. I'm just trying to see what I got open right now.
There's so much. I told you I went down a rabbit hole and I've got
Oh,
lists.
Fireflies for note taking. Um, Anytime
Yes.
AI for legal. Or my legal clients use that one. I was working with them a little.
Well, and like
Speaking to them.
I found a consulting site that I was looking at and they
Uh,
sent like this agreement and I thought, okay, I'm going to run this through Chat GPT.
yeah.
Sure enough, ran it through there and I said, give me the pros and cons. And it gave me the pros and cons, and the cons were relevant. So I was
Hmm,
like, thank you. And then I said, well, would there be other ones that would be more beneficial? And it gave me other ones. And it was like, where would I have ever gotten that information?
wow. Yeah. It's
I mean,
so.
so you can run lead, and it says I'm not a lawyer or whatever, but it will break it down
Yeah.
and tell you. Um, it
Oh,
the possibilities are just endless.
lost your camera.
I know. I'm here.
Awesome. Well, cool. No, well that covers a lot. I think that concludes it. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, anytime. I can
Awesome.
chat. So, if you ever want to chat, I'm your gal. I got a lot to say.